We're here to bring a new type of news show.
New insights, new styles, and new topics every day.
We are News Generation.
Bringing news just for you. It's Thursday, August 13th here in Seoul. I'm Isujin, and this is News Generation. Joining us today is Jian.
Hello, Isujin.
Good to have you, and also Keys with us today.
Morning.
Good to have you, and both are here to speak on behalf of people in their 20s and 30s. So we're heading towards the end of the work week, and there's no shortage of stories getting people talking, from viral food and drink trends to the latest buzz from around the globe. Let's see what's making headlines. And one Korean favorite is quickly becoming one global phenomenon. So how popular has soju become overseas, Jian?
Yes, today we are talking about soju in the early morning. Soju is actually all the rage, very popular indeed. That familiar little green bottle is now turning up all over the world. Soju has come a long way from being a local favorite in Korea. Today, it is sold in around 80 different countries, with overseas sales continuing to gain momentum. And it's not just Korean communities living abroad that are driving the demand. Soju is striking a chord with younger drinkers around the world. I'm talking about Gen Z and millennials. Well, the global rise of K-pop, K-dramas, and Korean food has certainly helped put soju on the map. So for many young consumers, sharing a bottle has become part of the wider Korean culture, K-culture experience. So there's even a playful meme online that says, all the cool kids drink soju, those who are stylish, fashionable, socially popular, they drink soju. So apparently cool now comes in a green bottle.
And I think that's what's so cool is that it's young people from all over the globe that is saying that. So what do you have to say about the popularity of soju?
So thrilled to talk about something that I really enjoy in my rather quote-unquote, since this lies in your expertise, you're going to have a lot to talk about, which is, yes, mix of soju and beer is also hugely popular in Korea, especially at group dinners and casual get-togethers. The name itself, soju and mekju, the Korean word for beer, people even have their own ratio. It was called golden ratio. The picture you're seeing right now, I just came back from Hawaii yesterday from a business trip, and you can see from the bottom where the green bottles lie, right? That's one of the souvenir stores in Hawaii. A lot of people go there and buy actual soju. And another trend these days is flavored soju, just like you can see over there, peach, grapefruit, and then also the strawberries. It's very approachable because it contains less alcohol contents, and also it's easy to drink, sweet. So even for those who are not familiar with alcohol drinks, they can still enjoy them.
So I just want to emphasize that photo was taken in Hawaii. So that's how common.
I actually had to get mine myself.
Right.
At a souvenir store to get some aloha souvenirs, and I saw a lot of people getting soju, so that was welcoming environment.
Well, it's actually very, very interesting and cool. So you can clearly show that how far soju has come. It's no longer just something people try out of curiosity. It's becoming part of everyday drinking culture in many places. And that's why we're going to talk more about this. But first, let's take a look at the screen. For years, soju was something people associated with everyday life in Korea, shared over dinner with friends and family, or seen in countless Korean dramas and movies. But beyond Korea's borders, it was a relatively unfamiliar drink. Today, that's changing. As Korean culture continues to captivate audiences worldwide, soju is finding fans across the globe, with overseas demand and exports reaching new heights. So today on News Generation, we take a closer look at just how popular soju has become overseas, why foreigners are falling in love with Korea's signature spirit, and our guests' favorite ways to enjoy it. As you saw in a video, soju is no longer just a Korean drink. It's becoming a global phenomenon, and the numbers seem to back that up. So Ki showed us photos of soju appearing in souvenir stores in Hawaii, of all places. So can you tell us the figures or the numbers that show how popular it actually is?
Of course. But before I talk about the figures, well, after seeing those photos, pictures, well, in fact, mouth-watering and thirsty a little bit. I don't know the specific reasons, but I do have some numbers, specific numbers. They paint a pretty clear picture here. According according to the Korea Customs Service, soju exports have been on the steady rise since 2021. And export value rose from $82.4 million in 2021 to more than $104 million in 2024. So that's roughly a 27% increase in just 3 years. And the US and Japan lead the pack, in fact, with soju even finding its way into baseballs and football stadiums and sports pubs across the US. Also in Europe, the UK has seen remarkable growth, with soju sales reportedly rising by an average of 75% a year over the past 3 years.
Wow.
And like Ki-hyun, I have actually experienced some things, a growing presence firsthand. When I was in Italy, I was surprised to see soju being served at ordinary local restaurants.
Really?
And even surprised. Yes, it's amazing to see that on display in a popular drink section at supermarkets, not on the bottom, you know, the popular section. So, and also its appeal is gaining ground across Southeast Asia, with Vietnam even welcoming its first local soju production facility. I have actually noticed something similar in Southeast Asia as well too. So in some places, soju is treated almost as a premium drink, something that you drink on a special day, not an ordinary drink. So perhaps the most interesting shift is what people are drinking now. Yes, fruit flavor soju has surged in popularity among younger consumers, and last year its export value overtook of traditional soju for the first time. So it seems the sweeter the soju, the bigger the splash.
Right, and it's also interesting how it's being received, because you mentioned how it's now sometimes seen as a premium drink, which is a bit different than how it's perceived in Korea. So it is interesting to see how it's also being enjoyed overseas with different fruit flavors, bringing people in who might not normally even drink spirits in the first place. So then we talked about how it's being enjoyed all over the world. So what makes it so appealing to foreign drinkers?
Only a small thing right now, the soju, because to make our crowds or spectators less fierce or less passionate, for now the baseball stadiums don't allow any alcohol that contains more than 5% of alcohol, so only beer and maybe makgeolli. But you know, and soju usually has an alcohol content of 15 to 18%, which used to be a bit stronger than my 20s, where soju was normally around 23, and my father's generation was about 25 or 27, but it's still mild compared to a spirit or whiskey that a lot of people or foreign people drink. So it has sometimes been described overseas as a Korean vodka, but smoother. Its lighter strength also means people can sip it over a longer period of time, which fits perfectly with the Korean style of drinking. In Korea, soju is traditionally served in small shot glasses with a bottle shared among several people at the table drinking together as part of the experience. People pour drinks for one another, make toasts, and usually enjoy soju alongside the food. Overseas, however, soju is a little bit different image. It has become known as a fun party drink. On social media, you can even see people putting a straw directly into a soju bottle. Another reason for its popularity is soju can feel lighter and easier to drink when you're drinking compared to a stronger spirit. Fruit flavor soju, especially, it takes it in further. It usually has a less alcohol content, and it has many different flavors: the green egg grape, grapefruit and strawberry. And also Korean pop culture has played a major role in soju's global popularity. Drinking scenes appear frequently in K-dramas, K-movies, and variety shows, from friends sharing a bottle over a Korean barbecue. And as Korean content has gained fans around the world, soju has become the part of the Korean experience. Some international fans imitate Korean people drinking on the screen, such as pouring drinks for others, holding a glass with two hands like this to be fair, and also turning slightly away when drinking in front of an elder, saying "건배" before taking a sip. So they're learning the etiquette of how you drink in Korean culture.
I think that's a pretty interesting combination of drink that's relatively approachable on its own, but has also become closely tied to Korean drinking culture that people see in Korean movies, Korean dramas. And as soju becomes more familiar around the world, the way people drink it is also evolving. And that's why we wanted to hear directly from our viewers. So we ran a poll on our YouTube channel asking, why do you like soju? And here's what the results showed. So the most popular answer was a variety of fruit flavors at 42%, followed by its relatively lower alcohol content at 28%. Another 21% said they enjoy soju because of the influence of Korean content, while 9% chose its lower calorie content. So the results suggest that soju's appeal goes beyond simply being a traditional Korean drink. Its range of flavors and approachable taste seem to be helping attract a wider audience, while the global popularity of Korean dramas and other Korean content is also introducing more people to the whole soju experience. So to find out what makes Korean soju so appealing this time from a foreigner's perspective, we're going to hear from someone who enjoys and knows Korean alcohol firsthand. And that conversation will take place right after the break.
NewsGen wants to hear from you. Go to YouTube and search out Channel Arirang News. Click Posts and cast your vote in the poll. Make a new type of news with us.
We're joined now by Jade from the Philippines, who is a fan of Korean soju. So hello, Jade. Thank you so much for connecting with us today.
Hello, everyone. It's nice to be back again. Thank you so much.
It's nice to talk to you again. So, Jade, how did you first discover soju and what do you love most about it?
Well, honestly, it was because of K-dramas or other Korean variety shows and Korean contents. You see the characters sitting at those late night food tents, pouring drinks for each other. And I think it just looks so cozy. And back then, I spent so much time wondering if it was as sweet and smooth as everyone on screen made it look. So I was really curious back then about how or what it actually tasted like. So as soon as I turned 18, I finally tried it we had a Korean barbecue that night along with my family friends. And at first, it definitely felt like a strong drink. I couldn't lie. But it really grew on me and I ended up loving it. So we even played the bottle cup game where you flick the little metal twist on the cap. And I think that made the night so much fun and memorable. So yeah, that's really what I love about soju. It's not just about the flavors, it's not just about the drink. It's literally about gathering around good food, good talks, having laughs, and making great memories with people you love.
Yes, Jade, it seems like something tells me soju has a special place in your heart. You know, the particular game that we play while we drink soju. Then how popular is soju in the Philippines?
It's everywhere now. Soju has become so popular in the Philippines, especially among young people or young Filipinos who are into Korean content. And a lot of Filipinos, including myself, were first introduced to it through watching shows or going out for a Korean barbecue night. And I remember a few years back, you had to hunt for it in a specialty Asian grocery stores. But now you can walk into almost any corner of the convenience stores or supermarkets and find a whole row of different flavors of it. There are so many options now, and I think almost everyone has a go-to flavors they swear by. So Filipinos really love to have an excuse to get together and share food. So those light fruity flavors are just fit into our weekend hangouts.
Sure, hopefully soju isn't too expensive in the Philippines. Let's say you have a person who's drinking soju for the first time, then what would you tell them how to drink? And also, what's your personal favorite?
Oh yeah, for the first timers, if it's your very first time, you do yourself a flavor. I suggest you skip the plain original one and start with the flavored one instead. And my absolute go-to is the peach flavor because it's sweet, refreshing, and it's really easy to drink. And of course, there's other ways you can enjoy the soju, and a really fun mix you can try is the classic soju Yakult combo. Well, you can pull your favorite soju flavors. Mine is like peach, and mix in some Yakult and top it off with a bit of a Sprite or a cider over ice. And yeah, it turns into this sweet, bubbly drink that goes really well with hot grilled meat, Korean barbecues, fried chicken, or other savory food. And yes, to those who are first timers, my main tip though, it really goes really smooth, but it can definitely sneak you up by the next morning. So remember to always drink responsibly. Take your time, enjoy the moment, enjoy the good food, and just literally enjoy it with friends.
I mean, I'm really glad that we had you on because it was so interesting to hear about you, that you have your own concoction of sorts of how you
Yes.
mix your soju. And also, thank you for mentioning that disclaimer about how it can really hit you all of a sudden.
Yeah. Actually, it could hit with the amount of alcohol. Others may think like, oh, it's not that strong, but yeah, it could. If you drank a lot, then definitely can hit you up by the next morning. So just like the other alcoholic drinks, of course.
Right, exactly. So thank you so much for coming on and sharing your insights with us today, Jade.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great day.
You
Thank
too.
you.
Thank you.
So we just heard from a soju fan from the Philippines about how she first discovered soju, why she enjoys it, how popular it has become back home, and even her recommendations for first-time drinkers. But there's much more to Korean soju than many overseas fans might realize. So what are some unique, this time regional soju brands that you think people should know about, Jihan?
Well, in Korea, we have a variety of different type of soju. Well, many young international visitors on a short trip to South Korea tend to stay in Seoul a lot, so they mostly come across household names like Chamyose or 처음처럼. But venue beyond the capital, they can discover that many regions have a variety soju brand of their own, often closely tied to local identity. So let's take a look at the map. Here are some of Korea's best known soju brands by region. Let's start from Jeju Island. Jeju Island, for example, is home to Hallasan, named after South Korea's highest mountain, a volcano that towers over the island. Hallasan is made with Jeju's volcanic bedrock water and is known for its rich aroma and relatively high alcohol content, which it stand out from many mainstream sojus. I actually bought a bottle back from Jeju recently and still in my fridge because it's too special to rush. And further east, Busan has Daesan, while neighboring Gyeongsangnam-do province is known for 좋은 day or good day. And down in Jeollado provinces, Ipseju is a familiar local favorite. So depending on where you travel in Korea, your local glass of soju may tell a totally different story.
I mean, that map was so interesting because I think people know obviously the big brand sojus, but to see it represent each region is quite interesting.
Different ones.
And also, I wonder if they taste a bit different too.
Little bit
doesn't it?
different.
Does it?
Yes.
So interesting. So it is fascinating that soju has so much regional character, almost like local craft specialties that that tourists never get to experience. And it turns out that's only part of the story. So what are some other regional soju varieties that people can try when they visit Korea?
Right, so apart from what Juhyun said, like the famous Hallasan and Daesan, other people also have local brands. So Daegu, for example, chamsoju is a quite favorite one for them. And the Gangwon State has regional brands such as 동해 밤바다 or the Night Beach and the East Sea and 맑은 Gangwon, clear Gangwon. And in Daejeon, other parts of the Chungcheong region, we also have Seonyang, and it has been marketed for its higher dissolved oxygen content, which earned the nickname of oxygen soju. So at a first glance, these regional soju may all look similar, but actually for serious soju fans, like you asked before, it's got a subtle difference, the different sweetness, aroma, smoothness, alcohol content, and even the aftertaste. So nowadays we even have this thing called sommelier, looking after sommelier who tastes and then try to look for the difference between the wine. But here we have different branded soju. So when you do come to Korea, just don't stick to the one brand, but try out all different sorts of local brand, and that would help.
Yeah, and I think these are all really good recommendations. And what started as a drink and joy mainly in Korea has become a symbol of Korean culture around the world. And as more people discover soju through travel, food, and Korean content, its global popularity is likely to keep growing. And with so many regional varieties and ways to enjoy it, there's always something new to raise a glass to. And that brings us to the end of today's episode of News Generation. My News Gen will be back tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Korea time with more stories and discussions. Big thanks to Jihyun.
Pleasure to be here.
And also Ki.
Thank you.
And to our viewers, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully your spirits for the rest of the week stay as high as soju's popularity. We are News Generation.